Hey, what's up? Welcome to Neo Motions, and this is part 2 of 4 in this tutorial to create this virus particle effects. In part 1, we create this illustration of these two viruses 100% in After Effects. In part 2, we set up a basic particle effects. In part 3, we loop our particle effects and we add on a few effects on top of it. In part 4, we use expressions to connect multiple viruses COM sources into the same particle effect. Let's go to our particle COM. Okay, so recap, we have one particle COM, 3 viruses COM. Control Y, create our gray solid. Let's call this particles COM size, and let's add in our particle world. Bring in our particle world. Bring in our 3 viruses into the COM. We hide them because we don't need to see them. We just need to reference them from our particles. Okay, so let me just move this to the side here. It's probably easier to see. Particle world has a lot of things going on. Open up all this stuff. So first, what I will change is particle type. Under particle type, change to textured quad polygon. Textured polygon or whatever textured square should do the same trick. I'm going to select textured quad polygon, and under open up texture, I'm going to select my texture layer as virus 1. My grids and guides are a bit annoying. Turn it off. Okay, these are my viruses, and by default you can see that the rotation is in all axis. So let's change rotation axis here to Z axis. So it'll always look this way. Okay, next up, opacity, max opacity. Let's bring it up to 100. Opacity map. Opacity map, I prefer to make it full 100% all throughout. So when it starts, I can see it. The next most important one is the physics animation. So there's a lot of different ones to choose from. You can play around with it. Fractal uni is going up this way, and then the first thing that I can see there is that I don't want gravity on 0. So the look that I'm going for is for it to go from one direction, probably from the right to the left, and just float like your viruses floating inside your body kind of thing. And next one, open up our direction axis. We have our XYZ. Using our direction axis, we're gonna create that direction that we're looking for. Just slightly, something like that. Okay, something like that looks fine. And let me see it. Okay, so it's gonna start from here. It's gonna pump out this way. The birth rate, let's change it to 0.5 so that it goes slower. Okay, so that you can see what's happening. So you can see as we scrub through, it's flowing out this way. I want it to start from around here, outside of this COM, where you can see it, the window. So we're gonna use position X and then move it to the side here, something like here. So the goal is for it to start with nothing. It's gonna start from here, start from nothing, and then come out to here, and then everything flows finish. Let's change the the longevity. I'm gonna let it run for 15 seconds, and then it should stop running at about 15-second mark here. We're gonna create a keyframe later on, and then it will stop at about 30 seconds. Another thing we're gonna add in is the radius. So let's give the radius a bit of an increase, 0.1, 0.1, 0.1, 0.1. So it's a larger ball here. Okay, so come up to 15 seconds here. Let's set a keyframe birth rate from 0.5. I'm going to press U to bring up my keyframe, and then go to 16 seconds and keyframe birth rate to 0. So from 0 to 15 seconds, it's going to start flowing, and then after that, it should stop. Okay, so you can see that it is a little too fast. What I'm going to do is to move it to the back a little, move it along the X a little more, slow down the birth rate. Make sure I'm at this keyframe here, and then lower the birth rate to 0.3 maybe. We also need to change the velocity. I'm going to give it 0.2, and also remove the extra here. Extra 0, extra angle 0. And you can see that it takes a while because of how slow it is, it takes a while before it comes in. So let's move our position X, move it out of the frame a little bit. Also increase the radius X and Y, maybe 0.2, 0.2, 0.2. We start from here. Let me just scrub through and see. Just gonna move it just a little more to the side, and then we take a look at when it ends. So at about 29-ish seconds, I can move these keyframes here move it just enough that it ends just about 29 seconds time. Let me change this. I'm just slowly massaging it to get the exact position that I want. Give the radius Y a bit more size so it's higher. And give Z also a bit more size so there's more depth. So the main idea is this. Whatever you tweak around, I'm gonna start with nothing. Gonna introduce the viruses inside here and then keyframe away the birth rate somewhere in the middle, which means that the emitter here stops emitting. The producer, and then it's gonna stick the next 10 to 15 seconds to finish up, and at the end, okay, I can push this a little further. I can push these two keyframes a little further down. So at 28 seconds, we still have a bit. 29 seconds, you see the last little virus fading out. I'm gonna have to reduce my rotation speed here. Rotation speed for change under particle rotation speed, change it to 30 degrees probably, because now it's really going too fast. Okay, so we have our comp here. So let's just call this our particle comp. Hey, thanks for watching part 2. Watch part 3 where we create a seamless loop and then we add on a few interesting effects on top of it.